You guys disappoint me so much because all of you gooners on this platform are slacking off. Because how did Zenless Zone Zero hand you a world built on primal and survival instinct and characters who are already about to bite off someone's neck, and none of you thought to make the OMEGAVERSE tier list? So I need y'all to understand that this video was bound to happen. And previously I talked about the male characters in Honkai Star Rail that I want to see. Pregnant. And against everyone's better judgment, I guess now it's ZZZ's turn. If you're still here because you're nosy, listen, I'm not about to give a crash course on OMEGAVERSE. You can do your own research for that. Because I'm just going to assume everyone here has a very basic understanding of the premise and is capable of behaving respectfully about it. First things first, I do not have a strong preference when it comes to assigning a character's secondary gender, because I hate limiting myself to certain options when I want to indulge in everything, which means making this list was obviously difficult. And second, we need to acknowledge that OMEGAVERSE in this context is a fictional framework, and there are no universally strict rules for how it should apply in every single case, which means I will, in fact, be cooking bullshit.
And here we go. I hope you're hungry for nothing.
So without wasting any more time, let's get into the list. So we got the Omegas, Betas, Alphas, and Enigmas, because I think there will be characters who are going to top everyone.
This is all I got.
I guess this is all we have for the male characters. I mean, there are more NPCs we could throw in here, but I really do not care enough to do that. Alright, first we got Ben Bigger. He's about to be bigger once he smells some juicy cinnamon roll omega pheromones. Frankly, I am not into bears, but with this unit, I kinda understand why some people would abandon their dignity. I mean, look at the toes. Don't ask me why I'm looking at his feet. They're staring at me first. But one toe is like the size of someone's whole wrist. Y'all stay safe out there. Now this is a character I'm quite familiar in the sheets. We know how Lyon is obsessed with restraining his primal werewolf instincts, and that is why he is an alpha. Not just an ordinary one, but a prime alpha. He knows he gets too aggressive and possessive, so he keeps himself on a tight leash. That's also why he'd be insanely sensitive to even the slightest change in scent, and the first thing he'll be penetrating is your nostrils with his scent. So the second he forgets to wear that expensive ass perfume Hugo brought for him, oh, your leg's about to turn to jelly once you get a whiff of what nature truly is. Next, we have Anton, a beta. He's more of a bros guy than anything else. I think people around him might mistake him as an alpha given how much aura with the way he presents himself, but instead of pinning anyone down, he's just trying to sit them down. He's not really familiar with the dynamics, and he's very confused, especially when an Omega starts scenting him for no reason. Edmund is quite an interesting character actually, and I like my men who think and act like they're dominant, but they're actually not. And guess what? Yeah, he's actually a submissive little Omega. Beneath all that high and mighty status, somewhere in his office, this man is shivering while desperately looking for his scent suppression pills. Seed Senior. Okay, I know constructs do not exactly make sense in the context of OMEGAVERSE, but then again, OMEGAVERSE itself barely makes sense, so I refuse to let that limit my creativity. And actually, I can make a whole essay why constructs do fit either way, but not today. Despite how soft and caring he is, Seed Senior is an enigma. Because once you rouse him, his logic car is not the only thing he'll be breaking. Tin Master is definitely a beta. This is probably why the coffee tastes so good. Because while the rest of the city is busy making the atmosphere worse with their hormonal nonsense, this man actually smells the beans instead of flicking them. Big Daddy is obviously an alpha. You might say, wow, that's boring, but when it comes to choosing a partner to spend his rut with, let's just say he is not particularly picky. So take that information however you will. Okay, yeah, Shuen. Here, me out. He is an aggressive Omega. Hey, I know I was cooking. We know he's quite tempered, more sensitive and more protective, especially over his family. And the reason why he's always missing, well, he's busy nesting, of course. And I will let him bear as many pups as he needs. Ah, yes, Spanye. Definitely an enigma. All the alphas, the betas, the omegas want him. And I will be first in line. Searian! Okay, I have this genius thought. Even though he's the golden child of the Lowell family, with his stern leadership, he's actually an Omega. I mean, he doesn't purposely hide it, but people just assume he's not because, well, how he is. But the twist is that his brother, Seth, is actually an alpha, just a late bloomer. Ooh, the tension! Now their arguments get even more spicy, but not as spicy as how Searian looks when he's in heat, begging me to fetch some water. My love, you go, Vlad. I know what you're all thinking, but listen, I love tension. I love it when the plot is thick as an Omega slick. So yes, he's an alpha, but there is a certain someone who also happens to be an alpha that he is very much interested in. I know. Alpha and alpha is always as delicious as it sounds when both of them think they should be in charge. That fight we saw the other day, baby, that was foreplay. Enzo, my man, is a beta, but unlike Anton, he is a lot more aware and actually tries to accommodate people's needs. He'd be the type to go, oh, I read in an article that Omegas feel more at ease during heat when they're bitten on the back of the neck, and then he proceeds to take that literally by using his metallic fingers to pinch the back of an Omega's neck, like, hey, at least this should work, right? I mean, he's a little lost, but his heart is absolutely in the right place. Wise. New Eridu's best bread bottom. Of course, an Omega through and through, and I do not take opinions that say otherwise. You can't tell me that someone as pretty as Wise carrying all that cake around the city like it's public property isn't making people drool and go feral. Excuse me. Mayor Mayflower. Listen, a dominant Omega, but he has this insane situationship with his ex-friend slash rival Edmund. You just know that back in their younger days, there was one heated night where they both got a little too caught up in the tension, only to realize that they were both bottoms. But did that stop them? Of course not. Man, I do love some old man yaoi. Okay, for Harumasa, as much as I want to put him as either an Omega or an Alpha, I think he was assigned as Beta. He's not really bothered by this whole secondary gender thing because being a Beta means he can kind of exist outside of all that nonsense, but that does not mean people are not watching him, ready to pounce or ready to get pounced on. And those who are a little more advanced in the lore of my bullshit, there are ways to turn into an Alpha and an Omega either way. And I really like the idea of Harumasa being someone who actively chooses that for himself. Then we have Lighter. Oh, come on. The champion being an Omega is kinda spicy, but we've already used that trope here, so we'll put him as an Alpha. He's somewhere in between a dominant and a recessive type. Like, it's just right, which means while he gives, he can also take. But his only problem is that knot's gonna last at least 3 hours. But at the same time, I would give up my life and become a trad wife just for this man. Monto is a submissive alpha. You know, he's a good puppy and all, so he's going to be very obedient, taking care of kids, doing house chores. I think several Enigmas, alphas, or even dominant Omegas would be quite fond of him. Pinhoo. Girl, I don't need to explain the details, but I just see him as a beta.
Okay, so there's some education that needs to be done. I can see that.
Pearlman? I actually don't give a damn, so let's just put him as an Omega, because what is inside that belly? Billy is a beta. His case is similar to Harumasa's because he's not that attached to all the primal instinct nonsense. I mean, he engages with them alphas and omegas every now and then, but he never really feels the urge to change. He's happy with the way he is. More like very no strings attached and no consequences type of guy because he's a walking birth control. Damian, a recessive submissive alpha. I do want him to be the more submissive type, but I need that to be a slow burn. The fun part is watching someone that composed slowly get worn down little by little until one day he realizes he is no longer the one in control here.
Oh my god, I'm blooming!
Can an alpha get pregnant? Will be new Eridu's news headlines after I spend 10 nights with him. Finally, Pompei. Honestly, he's like the only human I can see as an enigma here. Just look at him. Put him on my left and Banye on my right, and suddenly I understand what it means to die between a rock and a hard place. Okay, so before I make this video any more deranged, thank you for watching this very needed discussion. If it made you feel deeply touched, feel free to like and subscribe for more intellectual contributions to society. Here, we do not hold back. That is all for now, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.